VoyMonk channel video voiceover. And this is going to be the first Monday. That's right, first Monday. I'm done with that. No more first. I think people have had enough of this first of nonsense. So this is going to be kind of coming up on the week since the beginning of the year. So I think that's mighty enough. My last time that I talked about Friday was I said going into this week that I am going to do what I can to start doing the cooking and cooking rice. So that is going to be my goal going into this week, and keeping you apprised of what happens. I don't know that I'll necessarily have any updates sooner rather than later. But I was also thinking about these pans that I have. I have a new cooking pan, which is a Tefal pan. I need to get a actual lid for the doggone thing, because I bought it and I thought this is going to be great. I get a new pan, a new skillet, because the one I have before, I don't even know who it's made by, and it's held up okay. But it definitely has the issue that when I cook with it, it doesn't heat evenly, which I don't know if it's really even a thing, but it definitely seems to be in terms of that. So some other things I'm looking to do are eggs. I actually like eggs quite a bit this week, and so those are my two main goals, and chicken. So chicken, eggs, and rice. That's going to be the combination that I'm going to be going with this week. But I do want to get a Tefal lid, because when I bought it from the Walmart, it was a 12-inch pan, and they didn't say nothing. They never said nothing about no lid. So, but yeah, I've heard great things about Tefal, so definitely looking forward to doing that this Monday. This is going to be pretty much a laid back first Monday video voiceover. I just wanted to kind of do it because I'm a bit of a sadist when it comes to this whole first of nonsense that people do the first week of New Year's and that kind of thing. But I would say that going into so far kind of so good, going into the new year, it's going to be interesting in terms of seeing what a lot is going to come back in terms of some of these shows. And I had some predictions about what shows I thought were going to be pretty much successes. I know that Matlock with Kathy Bates is on hiatus for a little bit with the winter break. But that's the one that I'm looking forward to seeing in terms of how it fleshes out. Now, some of the characters on there I'm not too thrilled about. I mean, I know that one of the lead attorneys that, and I don't want to give any spoilers about the show, because if you haven't caught it, hopefully you get a chance to, because it's really good. It's called Matlock, but it's not really actually based on the show Matlock with Andy Griffith, although that would have been kind of awesome to a degree. But I actually do remember when Matlock was kind of going towards the end of its run, and they had introduced a daughter named Leanne, who, bless her, but I had zero interest in her character at all. Like, it wasn't really necessarily that she didn't come across as likable as she came across as, I didn't care. I don't care. Her last name wasn't even Matlock in the series. She went by a maiden name, not maiden name, but her married name in the show, I guess, or whatever. And it wasn't the first time that Matlock's daughter was in the show. He kind of started off with his daughter, but she disappeared some later episodes. I've not watched every single episode of Matlock. I love the show, but I wasn't that big of a fan of every single episode. I wasn't a fanatic where I had to watch every episode. And I would, probably now versus then, because I was much younger then. But yeah, like I said, his daughter was in it towards the beginning, but then she kind of did a Chuck Cunningham in Happy Days where you just didn't see her anymore. So they brought Leanne into the Matlock series towards the end. They tried to phase him out. And, the show should probably have just, it was on its last legs. And it probably should have gone out with good Andy Griffith at the helm and, whatever. But they tried to do what I think was going to be a bit of a spinoff that didn't work. And so fast forwarding to now where they do what I would call a remake of it, it's really not so much a remake as much as it's a different show. And they kind of play on it. But it's done in an interesting way. I think ultimately if it was a terrible show, and I really can't imagine Kathy Bates being in a show that was terrible, or she's being terrible in it. If it had not been good, I probably would have been resentful of the fact that it was called Matlock, and they kind of did a switch on us. But it was good. It was worth watching. So that is a series. I'm sure. Well, actually, they already got a renew. I think ABC's High Potential. I wanted to say that I think it's going to get renewed because it's really good, and it definitely has a lot of positive things going for it. It's a formula that's very, 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 very often used. She reminds me a bit of The Mentalist or Castle in a way, where she's a consultant with the police. I'm not exactly sure why the police need so much consulting. I mean, really, I don't know, but it's a good show. It's just I had a different feeling going into or towards the end of 2024 than I do this going into 2025 in terms of how I think it's going to really. I think it's probably going to get picked up. It does well enough. It's just I don't think that if it gets canceled, it'll have anything to do with what it's not doing or not being good enough. Sometimes ABC, NBC, CBS, and some of the network channels, I think one of the things that they're struggling with right now is creating and delivering content in an ever-shrinking market that they seem to kind of be doing everything that they can with the streaming platforms to try to gut. And, like I said, whatever the reason it may be for that, I may be completely off the mark, but I think commercial television is just, it's on its last leg. And so if shows like these wouldn't make it, I'm not exactly sure what would or what they would expect. I also like CBS's Tracker. It definitely has a lot going for it in terms of it being a cop show for if you're not interested in another cop show. But that is a common thread in our TV viewing. It's like everything is either a cop show or a show about doctors and that sort of thing. That's it. That's all we got. World is doctors and cops, and but it's a good show. I think Tracker is definitely going to get renewed. I'm very positive, but again, nothing's in stone. I think they're gonna do well because they've got the audience. Now, whether or not they can build on that, whether or not they think, it's they've got something else that they feel would do better and cost less, and that's a thing that's there too, is that sometimes it is cheaper to start something new and tried to hit that lightning in the bottle type of thing than it is to go with something that might need a little bit of tweaking, might need a little bit of time to grow legs and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I could definitely expect, or I definitely suspect that, like I said, of the 3 shows that I mentioned, if any of them don't get renewed, I think it's going to be even worse than I had predicted for the networks, because at this point, it's what's the point of even having cable? Not cable, but I mean, what's the point of even watching over-the-air network television? I mean, because aside from that, I mean, I mean, there's reality TV shows and old game shows coming back. Hollywood Square, they decided to bring that back, along with Match Game and all that stuff. I like the game shows. Our own problem is that they don't seem to have most of them on their streaming platforms as well. I think Match Game is on Hulu, and that's an okay show. But I can't find. I can find Family Feud a little bit on YouTube, but for the most part, it's like Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy. I haven't found where those old shows go, unless someone is willing to add them to their YouTube channel. Which, honestly, I'm really grateful for YouTube, and I actually kind of want to leave off with this: is that YouTube has been a pretty fantastic platform. I'm gonna give it credit for being against a lot of other things like Netflix and Hulu and all that kind of stuff. There really is quite a bit of really good content for a reasonable price on YouTube, and I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm not, it's nothing, personal or anything like that. I just do like the fact that, and the reason I'm saying that is that during this Christmas season, I'm able to watch, able to watch shows that I had missed, like the Smurfs Christmas special. No commercials, because I've got the Prime and that, but I can also see some of the old Christmas specials and shows. My mom could see The Lone Ranger, which is a show that she grew up with, without any commercials, and with all of the episodes up. So that is definitely something that I would give them credit for. And I would say that outside of my goals overall, I will say just one bonus one is probably going to be, as some of these networks start kind of getting filled out. I think, as I've said with the streaming services, most of them are going to probably be making some pretty drastic changes. But for myself, I'm still going to kind of decide what I'm going to do in terms of my content. And this is where I'm at. Because, how do I put it? If you buy, or you get into something that's where you're not streaming, but you're actually purchasing shows or content, what is likely going to be the most stable place to do that? I'm thinking Apple is pretty stable, because I can't see them getting bought or getting taken over by anyone. Amazon might be another, in YouTube. But besides those 3, I'm not exactly sure what is going to precisely be the digital platform for purchasing the content that I want, as opposed to paying a monthly subscription. Or is paying a monthly subscription the better option to go? Once, of course, some of these network streaming services kind of figure it out. So, and then, of course, lastly, I'm also thinking about physical media, in terms of just buying them outright, which I don't have actually the money to do, but I kind of wonder what is the better overall preference going into 2025. And so in terms of content and everything that I've mentioned before, and like I said, going into the year 2025, those are some things that I'm honestly thinking about on this Monday, the first Monday of 2025. All right, I'm shutting up. That's it. So until my next piece of content, until next time, take care.